Hello everyone. So you clicked on the link because in the thumbnail it says something about you think you might be ready to start a YouTube channel. And while I do not consider myself a YouTube expert, I will say that there are things that I wish I would have known, things I wish I would have thought about, and there are things that I want to share with you. So some of the things that I want to start with are questions, and I'm going to end the video with my advice. So my first question is, why? Why do you want to start a YouTube channel? Is it to teach others how to do something? Is it to entertain others? Do you want to do sort of a day in the life kind of thing where you are blogging about your day and your life? Do you want to make money? So that's the first question I would ask you is why? Why do you even want to do this? My second question is, who is your ideal audience? Who are you making the channel for? Are you making it for women? Are you making it for men? Are you making it for families? Are you making it a children's channel? Are you making it for crafters? Who is your ideal audience? I want you to kind of really think about that. I do have my notes right here, so if I look down, it's because I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. My third question is, how do you want to do your channel? Do you want to do long form content where you are making videos that are longer than a specified amount of time, or do you want to do short form content where it's more like reels that are like, anywhere between 60 seconds and 2 minutes? Do you want to do live recordings, or do you want to do recorded tutorials? Kind of think about that. What is the format? Do you want your videos to be vertical, or do you want them to be horizontal? Okay, because there are options. Number 4, this one is multiple questions, but they all kind of relate to each other. And this was something that I wish I had thought about before I got started. Who is doing the same type of content that you're planning to do? Take some time to study others who are doing the same type of content. And I'll give you an example after I kind of go through these questions. Look at what their format is. Are they doing live tutorials? Or are they doing live videos? Are they doing live streams? Are they sitting? Are they standing? Are they wearing a certain type of clothes? Do you see them wearing the same colors most of the time in their videos? Do you see a consistent color theme throughout their thumbnails and in the stuff that's behind them and in what they're wearing? What do you like about them when you're watching them? What catches your eye about them? Is it their thumbnail? Is it their format? What are the things that you dislike about them? What are the things that you are looking at and you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to do it like that? And what would you do differently? Kind of think about that. And I'll give you an example. So one of the content creators that I watched early on, and I'll tell you one thing that I really liked about her. Her name is Jennifer Maker. And what I liked about her is that she always shows the materials. She doesn't just say, I'm using this, and this. Not only does she tell you the materials, she actually shows them, and they're always listed below the video. So because that's one of the things that I really liked that she does, I make sure to do that when I'm doing my content. I always make sure that I show the materials and they're always listed right below my video. So I do pride myself on that. And I'm very thankful that I was able to pick up on that early on. Number 5, something else another question for you to consider. What will your channel name be? Now, this is a mistake that I made early on because right now the name of my channel is Crafting with Delonda. And when I first got started, my name was very limiting. It was Cricketing with Delonda. And I didn't even realize how limiting it was until I went on kind of like a crafty retreat. And one of the other ladies said, you might consider changing your name because it is kind of limiting. Because right now, if you have been following me, you know that I use way more materials than just a Cricut. I have a lot of different machines. And the word crafting really does signify what I do. So Crafting with Delonda. One of the things that I would suggest that you do once you kind of decide on a name, write it down, say it out loud, see if it has a ring to it. Check on Google, do a search and see if anyone else has that name, especially if you have a popular name like Michelle or Madison, or more. Like if you are crafting with Madison, is there another crafting with Madison, online already? Also, whatever you decide that your name is going to be, make sure that's your name on every platform. So if that's going to be your name on YouTube, you should also have a Gmail account with that same name. That should also be your name on Facebook. That should be your name on Pinterest. That should be your name on X. That should be your name on TikTok. That should be your name on Instagram. That should be your name on your email account. Everywhere you are in terms of social media, whatever platform you're on, that should be your name. So if I'm looking out for you, or I'm trying to find you, no matter what platform I look for you on, I should be able to find you. And I shouldn't have to, you're not one name here and a different name in a different place. But that's something that I wish I had done very, very early on. And my last question before I go into my advice is, how often do you plan to, put your videos out? Do you plan to do it weekly? Do you plan to do it twice per week? Do you plan to do like one live stream and one recorded tutorial? Do you want to go live every day? Do you want to put out a video every day? One thing I would definitely caution you about that is doing something that is sustainable. Because I know that once you first get started on YouTube, it's so easy to just be like, I'm just going to go live every day. But honestly, if you don't think you can sustain that, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you don't do that. Do something that you can actually maintain and sustain. Okay, so those are the things I want you to think about before you get started. You don't have to, but these are my suggestions, and these are things I wish I had known. Now, here is my advice. These are not necessarily questions. These are just things that hopefully will help you on your journey. Now, if you haven't already liked this video and subscribed to this channel, make sure you go ahead and take care of that. My name is Crafting with Delonda, and I'm so glad you joined me today. All right, so here's my advice. Number one of the things that I do, even now as a content creator, is I follow other content creators who teach people how to be content creators. And some of my favorites, I have 4 favorites, and they are, and not in any specific order, Think Media. That's really all they do. They teach content creators how to create content. They do all the back end type of stuff that, that you're not even thinking about. Nick Nimmin is another one of my favorites. Roberto Blake, and Nate Black. Those are my top 4. Number 2, establish a way to connect with your community. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh, I'm on Instagram and people can just DM me. As you grow in your channel, will you be able to keep up with all of the DMs that will be coming your way? Because you'll start to get DMs from your subscribers. You'll get DMs from people who want to communicate with you or work with you or collaborate with you. And will you be able to maintain that and sustain it? When I first started my channel, when I had less than 200 subscribers, that was what I used to always tell people. If you have a question, just reach out to me in Messenger. And I quickly realized that that was a mistake, because as my channel started to grow, I really couldn't keep up with the number of people who would send messages and ask questions and need more help that I could even be able to give in Messenger or in a Messenger type of setting. So I don't suggest doing that, but you will find the way that works best for you. What I personally do now is I have a Facebook community, and that is really where I interact the most. And really, I have a set time and day that I go live with them weekly. And that's my time to interact with them. That's the time where they can ask me questions. That's the time where, I really try to pour back into that community. I don't really do that on Instagram. I don't do that on any other platform. Facebook has worked well for me because a lot of my crafters are in my Facebook group, and it's just a place where I have decided I would like to interact the most. But I suggest that you establish a community where you can interact with your community that is manageable, sustainable, and reasonable based on you and the time that you have available. My third piece of advice is keep your word. Your word is going to be important as you start to grow. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you find out that you can't do it, go back and say, I apologize. I thought I was going to be able to do it, but I can't do it. Something has come up. Give people an ample amount of time to find an alternative to spending that time with you, because you will have a loyal community of subscribers and followers and people who love to engage with you. And you don't want your commitment to always be shaky. Like they don't know if they're really going to see you because you've, continued to cancel at the last minute or do a lot of cancellations. I really try to keep my commitments. My word is very, very important to me. Don't make a lot of promises about, we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing that and we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing that. And you haven't even done the first this. People don't like that, and they will catch on to that very quickly, and you will ruin your reputation. Okay. All right. My fifth piece of advice is think ahead about what you want people to know as a result of watching your video. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a live stream or if you're doing a recorded tutorial. What I do in my live streams, I did not start out this way, but I have definitely been doing this for at least a year and a half. I like to start out with, let me grab it. I like to start my live streams on time, and I always like to start with a goal. So I'll start out with, this is what we're going to do, and I'll end it with, this is what we're going, hey, have we accomplished this goal? That lets my community know, hey, she's thought about what she wants us to learn before we've even, before she even pressed the button. And I think about, as a result of watching this video, what do I want the viewer to walk away with? What is the knowledge that I want to make sure that I share? So, think about that from the beginning to the end. Or if it helps you, start with the end in mind. As a result of watching my video, I want them to know how to do double applique. So I'm wearing double applique. In order to do this, what do we need? We need the materials, we need an embroidery machine, we need the glitter, we need all the things. Really think about that. Don't start thinking about that after you've already pressed the button to go live. Okay, you want to show people that you value them and you value their time. And one way to do that is by being prepared before you even press the button to go live. Okay, and I'll tell you, as a viewer, if I start watching someone and they're getting ready, once they've already gone live, I will quickly click out and go find something to do with my time, because I don't like my time being wasted. Okay, so if you're not doing live streaming, but you are doing recorded tutorials, even then, think about it. Make a list. I'm a checklist girl. I love a checklist. I live by checklists. I will really write it down. First step this, second step, third, fourth, fifth. And I have a lot of checklists available that I've created over time because I really do work well from a checklist. My last and final piece of advice, and hopefully, you are finding this helpful. This is not the ins and outs of YouTube or the back end of YouTube, but these are things that I certainly wish I had known when I first got started. And maybe it's just a starting point or some things for you to think about. My fifth and my most critical piece of advice is be yourself. When you press the button or you decide, okay, I've thought about my channel name. I know who my audience is. I know how often I want to go live. I know what I want the people to know. Once you've thought about those things and you're ready to actually get started, be yourself. Do not get on YouTube or any other platform trying to be anybody else. Don't change your voice. Don't change your attitude. Don't change. Be who you are. Because people will pick up a fake or a phony person like that, and that will kill your reputation, okay? And it's going to be hard to keep up a facade of, this is who I want the people to think I am. That's not you. That's not who you are. Be exactly who you are, okay? And what I like to say about that is, if you be yourself, you'll be fine, because everybody else is already taken. Don't try to copy anybody else. The example that I gave you is Jennifer Maker. I said, I love the fact that she shares her materials. I don't get online trying to be her. I can only be me. The one thing I picked up is that I do share my materials, but I do it my way. I don't do anything like anybody else because I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be just like myself. And I encourage you to be just like yourself. Your audience will find you and they will connect with you and they will stay with you because they will see that you are being your real, true, authentic self. It is nothing worse than when someone accuses you of trying to be just like somebody else and you were just not like that. All right. I've never made a video like this before about YouTube tips, but I know it's the beginning of, 2025 and a lot of people are really thinking about starting a YouTube channel. And I think it is great. I have had a fantastic experience with starting my channel and watching it grow over time and connecting with my crafting community and meeting and collaborating with some amazing, amazing people. And I have big communities all across social media. But one thing that, I can say is that if, these things if I had thought about these things beforehand, or if I had even known to think about these things, I might have even been further than I am now. But I just think everything in God's timing. So hopefully you did find this helpful. If you did, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.